History Network and our YouTube channel, Michael Imhotep, IMHOTEP. Okay, so this morning I was looking at a story from Washington Post. And, I have been talking about, just on yesterday's show, we talked about how schools are opening back up in the South. Children are going back to school in the South. And you have some states that have Republican governors that don't have a mask mandate in schools, and they're banning some states are actually banning masks in schools. And we talked about at Metro Atlanta, we talked about Georgia yesterday. There was an article from Forbes.com that talked about how 2 weeks after opening, Atlanta schools report 4,000 COVID cases. It's actually Metro Atlanta's at the Atlanta area, not just the city of Atlanta, but the surrounding area of Atlanta. So we talked about this on yesterday's show. And I also talked about Governor Ron DeSantis in Florida and Governor Greg Abbott of Texas, because both Governor Ron DeSantis of Florida and Governor Greg Abbott of Texas, they're both idiotic Republicans, and they both banned masks in schools, right? And schools are opening up in Florida and Texas. So I saw this story from the Washington Post this morning. And when I originally saw the story, we're going to pull it up here. It said more than 5,000 Florida students isolate or quarantine because of a school district's COVID-19 spike. Okay, more than 5,000 Florida students isolate or quarantine because of a COVID-19 spike. All right, so this was the story this morning. And then around 3 p.m., I updated the story. Around 3 p.m., I looked at the story again and refreshed the screen, and the story had been updated. And it's been updated to more than 8,000 Florida students isolate or quarantine because of a school district's COVID-19 spike. Now, the article could very well say because of an idiotic governor who wants to be Trump's mini-me and wants to become president, and is too stupid to have a mask mandate. The article could say that. That may be too long for a headline, but that's what the article could say. Okay, so we're going to talk about that on today's show. And then, as if that wasn't enough, call it karma, or, you could call, you could play Karma Chameleon by Boy George and the Culture Club, if you're old enough to remember Boy George and the Culture Club. But at the same time, Governor Greg Abbott of Texas, the idiotic governor who is trying to push through the voter restriction bills in Texas and is keeps ordering the sessions of the Texas state legislature to take place, even though there's not a quorum in the Texas House of Representatives. Governor Greg Abbott tested positive for coronavirus. Imagine that. Surprise, surprise, surprise. I saw the story first from ABC News, and I started laughing when I saw the story because, we not laughing because of tragedy, but laughing because, this is karma coming back on you. Now, Governor Greg Abbott is fully vaccinated. He was just at a big event. I think it was Monday night. He was just at a big event. It's about 600 people there. Most people weren't wearing masks. Okay. And he was shaking people's hands and things like that. Now people have to quarantine because they came in contact with him. And, you know, I hate to tell you, but I told you so. Texas Governor Greg Abbott, who has sought to ban mask mandates in schools, test positive for coronavirus. So he doesn't have any symptoms as of yet. They say he's doing all right. We'll see. But once again, this is karma coming back on stupid people. Now, he's fully vaccinated, but the school children who are going to school and he's banning masks, and children under 12 are not authorized. You know, for children under 12, they still can't get vaccinated. So he's putting children in jeopardy, as well as their families and the staff and everybody who is there teaching the children. He's putting them in jeopardy. So I posted this article today and put a hashtag karma. This is karma coming back on them. There's a good article from ABC News about this as well. We posted the article from ABC News today. And you just have to wonder how many people's lives are they going to put in jeopardy trying to score political points and trying to win over Trump voters. And I'm not sure if they've come to the realization. You do realize that there are less and less Trump voters every day because they keep dying of coronavirus. I mean, you do realize that, right? I'm not sure. I'm not sure if they've realized this or not, but you keep putting out you keep putting out this misinformation, and then you're not even trying to protect the people who you want to vote for you. Which I don't even understand that. You're not even trying to protect the people who you want to vote for you. ABC News has I'm looking at the article that we posted from ABC News. Texas Governor Greg Abbott tests positive. Abbott is fully vaccinated and has no symptoms. Obviously, he wasn't vaccinated for stupidity. The United States is facing a COVID-19 surge this summer as the more contagious Delta variant spreads. More than 62,000 Americans have died from COVID-19, and over 4.3 million people have died from the disease worldwide, according to real-time data compiled by the Center for Systems Science and Engineering at Johns Hopkins University. And okay, these are the updates here. I want to go to the information dealing with Greg Abbott. We'll talk about that because this is karma coming back on. But this is extremely concerning. What's happening in Florida, because the children are the most vulnerable, and many of the children are victims of stupidity and irresponsibility from adults, from politicians like Governor Greg DeSantis in Florida, and then some of their parents, not all of their parents, but some of their parents who are protesting against mask mandates and things like this. There's a story from NBC Nightly News that I'm going to share with you. And the story from NBC Nightly News today deals with a troubling spike in COVID cases among children. States like Arkansas are seeing a spike in COVID-19 hospitalizations among children. Doctors say low vaccination rates, the Delta variant, and loosening restrictions as kids return to school could turn that crisis into a catastrophe. Now, just last week, you had 121,000 cases of coronavirus among children. I mean, and this is just the beginning of the school year for in the South. This is just in the South. This is just beginning. We're looking at Texas. We're looking at Florida. We're looking at Georgia, and that's just metro. The article that we talked about yesterday. That's just metro Atlanta area. I don't even know what's going on in the rest of Georgia. I don't know what's going on in Stone Mountain and all them other places in Georgia where you got all the former Confederate people, all that stuff. I mean, you know, I don't even know what's going on there. So we'll discuss that. Then there was I saw this article yesterday. I saw a number of different outlets covering this story yesterday and today, dealing with legendary actress Nichelle Nichols, best known as Lieutenant Uhura, Lieutenant Nyota Uhura in the original Star Trek series, and then in the Star Trek movies. She's suffering from dementia, and she's locked in a conservatorship battle. And it's really sad. I'm going to talk a little bit about this. Trailblazing Star Trek actress Nichelle Nichols at the center of conservatorship battle. Okay, at the center of conservatorship battle. And this is similar to what happened with Britney Spears. And this is not, well, you don't really hear about this that often with, celebrities. But we'll talk some about what's going on with Nichelle Nichols. All right. Let me flip over this. In a situation eerily similar to Britney Spears, the three-way struggle over Nichelle Nichols' fate involves her only child, her former manager, and a concerned friend. Her only child, a former manager, and a concerned friend. Okay, so we'll talk about this also. All right, and then we'll talk a little bit about Marcus Garvey. Today is Marcus Garvey's birthday, August 17th. He's born August 17th, 1887. And I'm going to try to squeeze in this article. I posted this article earlier today. This is from face-to-faceafrica.com. And we've posted this article before. This deals with Duse Muhammad Ali, the little-known Sudanese-Egyptian Pan-Africanist who mentored Marcus Garvey. Okay, Duse Muhammad Ali. I remember learning about Duse Muhammad Ali back when I was in college at Wayne State University. And I remember reading the book Betrayal by Any Other Name by Dr. Khalid Al-Mansour. And Dr. Khalid Al-Mansour came to Wayne State University, and he gave a lecture and talked about his book. And I saw Dr. Khalid Al-Mansour. I first found out about him on Tony Brown's Journal. Okay, the long-running series Tony Brown's Journal. That's where I saw him, and I remember seeing Dr. Malefe Keti Asante on Tony Brown's Journal also. Long-running show. Very, very good journalist. So we'll talk a little bit about this as well. The little-known Sudanese-Egyptian Pan-Africanist who mentored Marcus Garvey. We know Marcus Garvey's influenced everybody from Malcolm X to Dr. King to Elijah Muhammad to everybody. But a lot of times we don't talk about who influenced Marcus Garvey. Okay, so we'll discuss that as well. All right, now on the African History Network show, we focus on educating, empowering, and inspiring people of African descent throughout the diaspora and around the world. Because right now it's corrects wrong behavior. What you do for yourself, what you do to yourself, and what you allow other people to do to you and get away with is based upon what you think about yourself. What you think about yourself is based upon what you haven't taught about yourself. What you've been taught about yourself is based upon everything you've read, heard, and seen about yourself. So when you control the radius of a man or woman's thoughts, you can control the circumference of his or her actions, because the mind can't do or teach what it doesn't know. Oh, okay, we're way past the break. I'm sorry, I didn't even realize that. All right, we got to take a quick break here. You listen to the African History Network show right here on 910 AM Superstation Future Radio. I'm your host, Brother Michael Imhotep. We'll be back in a few minutes.
Black on Purpose Television Network. Yes, Black on Purpose Television Network. All black, all positive, all the time. The largest black-owned streaming television network in the world. Bringing our people together worldwide. Controlling our messages, our stories, our way. Black TV the way it should be. Black music, Black history, and more. 30-plus channels, thousands of shows. Black on Purpose Television Network. Subscribe now.
Hi, I'm Joel Wilson, President and CEO of JCW Computer Consulting, LLC, a technology implementation firm with over 20 years of satisfying customers. We offer a full spectrum of industry top-tier branded services. We are an authorized partner or reseller for Lenovo, Zoom, T-Mobile, Microsoft 365 and Surface tablets, Google Workspace, Acer, Asus, Samsung, PCmatic security software, and many more. Our online store features laptops, Chromebooks, computers, printers, accessories, and software. Businesses, take advantage of our free 1-hour Zoom tech consultation and know we offer top nationwide high-speed internet service providers, voice over IP, and cellular phone services. Home users, don't miss our current in-stock Chromebook inventory. Please visit us at jcwcc.com or call 215-879-6701.
910, the Superstation, Detroit's only African-American talk radio.
Welcome back to the African History Network show right here on 910 AM, the Superstation, the Future Radio. I'm your host, Brother Michael Imhotep. It is Tuesday, August 17th, 2021, and we are live. Calling numbers 313-778-7600. 313-778-7600 is the call-in number if you have a question or comment. Okay, I want to remind you all also, I will be at the 38th Annual African World Festival taking place Friday, August 20th through Sunday, August 22nd at the Charles H. Wright Museum of African American History in Detroit, 315 East Warren Avenue, Charles H. Wright Museum of African American History. We have Piper Carter on Sunday night, who is the coordinator of the Detroit Rocks the Runway fashion show, and that's taking place on Friday, August 20th, 8:30 p.m. But I'll be there all 3 days. I'll be in the Peck Park area of the festival, and I'll have a vendor booth there, so you can come and say hi to the African History Network, and I have my DVD lectures there. I'll be registering people for my online courses also. Okay, that's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. For more information, visit the right.org, WRIGHT, the right.org for more information. And we'll have information at our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. All right. I want to go to this first story here dealing with Star Trek actress Nichelle Nichols. Okay, so I saw this story here from Essence.com and also thegrio.com as well. Trailblazing Star Trek actress Nichelle Nichols at the center of a conservatorship battle. At the center of a conservatorship battle. Now, We remember her as Lieutenant Uhura, Nyata Uhura from Star Trek. And this is, I found out some time ago that she's suffering from dementia. Now, Nichelle Nichols, the actress who helped break television's color barrier in the 1960s with her portrayal of Lieutenant Nyota Uhura in Star Trek, is caught at the center of a conservatorship battle. It's called at the center of a conservatorship battle. This was reported by the Los Angeles Times. The three-way struggle over Nichelle Nichols' fate involves her only child, Kyle Johnson, and her former manager, Gilbert Bale, and a concerned friend, also one whom she named her successor, Angelique Fawcett. Now, in a situation eerily similar to Britney Spears, this legal battle is raising public consciousness about conservatorships. Okay, and let me pull this information here. So a conservatorship is a legal status to which a court appoints a person to manage an incapacitated or incompetent individual's or minors' financial affairs. Now, we've a lot of people have heard what's going on with Britney Spears. Now, Nichelle Nichols' former agent and friend have launched court battles to intervene because they feel that Nichelle Nichols is being denied the opportunity to live a life free of unwarranted restrictions. All right, free of unwarranted restrictions. Now, Nichelle Nichols' current bout with dementia was a catalyst for the issue between the three aforementioned parties. And let me see this. Try to blow this up some more. Okay, the three aforementioned parties. Now, her son, Kyle Johnson, who claimed his 88-year-old mother could be exploited due to her mental instability, sought a petition for her conservatorship 3 years ago. Now, in the documents, he nominated a group of licensed professional fiduciaries to control Nichelle Nichols' person temporarily. Okay, this was temporarily. This was 3 years ago. In the petition, her son, Kyle Johnson, claimed Nichelle Nichols has, quote, severe short-term memory loss impacting her executive functioning. Severe short-term memory loss impacting her executive functioning. Now, in August of 2018, her friend Angelique Fawcett filed an objection to Nichelle Nichols' to her son Kyle Johnson's petition, arguing that Nichelle Nichols was still of sound mind and body, thus being able to manage her personal and financial affairs with limited help from a caregiver or assistant. Now, Angelique Fawcett accused Kyle Johnson of using his conservatorship as a means to access Nichelle Nichols' income and personal possessions. Okay. Now, in January of 2019, after Kyle Johnson was appointed conservator of Nichelle Nichols' person and estate, okay, Bell opted to continue the legal proceedings. Prior to the judge's ruling, Bell used his managerial influence to take control of Nichelle Nichols' assets and personal affairs. All right. So this is a three-way fight. All right. Gilbert Bell is her former manager. Kyle Johnson is her son, her only child. And Angelique Fawcett is a longtime friend. This is a three-way battle. So Gilbert Bell then opposed the court's decision to grant Nichelle Nichols' son, Kyle Johnson's conservatorship, and filed a lawsuit against Johnson for allegedly attempting to remove him from Nichelle Nichols' guest home. Today, Nichelle Nichols' condition remains unclear, with many of the parties involved declining requests for comment. Now, as this conservatorship battle moves forward, one should not lose sight of Nichelle Nichols' contributions as an African-American actress on the small screen. These series of tragic events, along with her illness, pales in comparison to her legacy as a pioneer. Nichelle Nichols, who blazed the trail as an African-American woman, as a Black woman on television, in a non-stereotypical role during a time when it was most important, and laid the foundation for other women of color to pursue acting as a serious career. And we know that she contemplated, I played the interview here on the show before. Nichelle Nichols wanted to quit Star Trek. And it was Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. who convinced her not to quit the show. Because Nichelle Nichols said that he told her that it was important for African-American children, especially African-American girls, to see you each week see you in outer space, see you on this ship, see you in this position. Okay. And it was a non-stereotypical position she was in. And that TV show and her character was one of the influences for Dr. Macy Jemison. Okay. Because Dr. Macy Jemison talked about when she was a little girl, the first African-American female in outer space. Dr. Macy Jemison talked about when she was a little girl, she watched Star Trek, and seeing Lieutenant Uhura was one of her influence. It wasn't the only influence, but that was one of her influences. TheGrill.com also has an article on this as well. The piece from The Griot is a Star Trek actress Nichelle Nichols caught in conservatorship battle. So this is a sad story, and it's always sad. Dementia, just suffering from dementia is sad in itself, because it robs you of your memory faculties. This is a piece here from August 17th from The Griot. Star Trek actress Nichelle Nichols caught in conservatorship battle also, so you can check this one out as well. And let me see here. There's a tweet here. See if we can take a look at this tweet. All right, let's see here. Okay, it was okay, there's people commenting on it. Now, all three parties, Johnson, Bell, and Fawcett, Kyle Johnson, Gilbert Bell, her former manager, and Angelique Fawcett, her longtime friend, all three parties may ultimately meet in court to decide Nichelle Nichols' fate. But for now, the pioneering actress remains in New Mexico with her family. Remains in New Mexico with her family, where her son says she lives in a rental home, and he is her primary caregiver. Now, a $200,000 GoFundMe campaign effort has been established to help support the star, One started by her sister, Marianne Nichols Smothers. It has raised just over $148,000. Okay, we're going to post this link here. If you want to contribute to it, you definitely can. All the tens of millions of I don't know how much money Star Trek has generated. In no way this black is no way all the money that's been made off of the Star Trek franchise and all those Star Trek movies. I think she's been in all those movies. Okay, she was in the original series. Original series is only on the air 3 years, but she's in the original series. All the Star Trek movies she made that's made tens of millions of dollars. I don't know how much money has been made off the Star Trek movies, but then also the licensing of the Star Trek comic books, the Star Trek action figures, all types of things like that. There's no way she should be in this position. Okay. But check this out here. We'll post this link from thegrio.com also. We'll post this article here from the Grio as well. I remember when I remember back in the 70s, I had a Star Trek, it was like a Star Trek headquarters. I remember I had the Mr. Spock action figure. I don't remember the other action figures I had, but I remember I had the Mr. Spock action figure and all that stuff from the 70s. So, yeah, I'm not sure who owns the rights to Star Trek, all this stuff. You know, I'm not sure who owns the rights to Star Trek now, but there's no way she should be in this position. That doesn't even make sense. Okay. So check that out as well. Okay. Star Trek actress Nichelle Nichols caught in conservatorship battle. It's an article here from thegrio.com as well. All right, maybe on tomorrow's show we'll share that interview that she did, in which she talked about the influence Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. had on her, because she said Dr. King was her leader, and he convinced her not to quit the show. All right, I want to go to this next story here. We're going to go to clip one, Shakita. This is dealing with. So yesterday's show, we talked about Metro Atlanta schools and how Metro Atlanta schools, 4,000 children were sent home because of a report of 4,000 COVID-19 cases in Metro. So it wasn't just Atlanta schools, it was Metro Atlanta schools. Okay, we talked about this on yesterday's show. The Fortune.com has this article, August 16th, 2021. 2 weeks after opening, it says Atlanta schools, but when you read the article, and we talked about this yesterday, it's actually Metro Atlanta. All right, so you can't blame all this on Atlanta. It's Metro Atlanta. It includes, Atlanta and the surrounding suburbs. 2 weeks after opening, Atlanta schools report 4,000, Metro Atlanta schools report 4,000 COVID-19 cases. Schools opened in the Atlanta metro area on August 2nd, 2021. Now, just 2 weeks later, the number of COVID-19 cases among students and faculty has exploded to nearly 4,000. Okay, so this article was from yesterday. I don't know what it is now. I don't know how many cases of COVID-19 they have now, and they have to send these children home. So this morning, as I said at the beginning of the show, this morning I was reading articles, pulling together content for tonight's show, and I saw this article from the Washington Post. And I read Washington Post, New York Times every day. I monitor about 35 different news sources on a daily basis. Now, this morning when I saw the article, it said more than 5,000 Florida students in one school district, isolate or quarantine amid local COVID surge. Then the article was updated at 3:14. I checked the article. I checked the article again this afternoon. It's about 3:30 p.m. The article was updated at 3:14 p.m. and it said it was updated to 8,000 Florida students. Now, this is not the entire state of Florida. This is one school district in Florida. This is an example of what happens when you have an idiot as governor, Governor Ron DeSantis. I think Ron DeSantis could very well be sued for endangering children. I mean, this is one of the dumbest ass people you ever want to meet in your life. Now, remember that let's go back 2018. I was warning people about Ron DeSantis. Remember, Andrew Gillum was running for governor, and you had some black people in Florida who said they weren't voting for Andrew Gillum because Andrew Gillum didn't have a black agenda. But your dumb ass let somebody get in office who has an anti-black agenda, Governor Ron DeSantis. And look at what's happening now. This is how dangerous stupidity is. This is an example of how dangerous stupidity is. So if you look at this article here from the Washington Post, more than 8,000 Florida students in one school district isolate or quarantine amid local COVID surge. That doesn't mean all 8,000 students have COVID-19, but it's just scary that your children have to come home because there's a COVID outbreak in the school and they have to stay home. Now, can they social distance at home? So if they have COVID, they don't infect other people? Some homes, they can't social distance. A Florida school board is set to hold an emergency meeting this week to consider a mask mandate as more than 8,000 students and hundreds of employees in its district are in isolation or quarantine because of a surge in coronavirus cases and possible exposure. Now, it should say because of an idiotic governor named Ron DeSantis who banned mask mandates. That's what it should say. If I was writing an article, that's what it would say. Hillsborough County Public Schools, which includes Tampa, Florida, has 8,400 students and 307 staff members either in isolation because of a positive COVID-19 test or in quarantine after coming in close contact with someone who tested positive, district spokesperson Tanya Arja told the Washington Post on Tuesday, August 17th. The number of students who are either in isolation or quarantine jumped by nearly 3,000 from the total given by the school district on Monday. So on Monday, it was 5,000. On Tuesday, it jumped to 8,000. What is it going to be on Wednesday? How about Friday? Now, spokesperson Tanya Arja said the district is following quarantine and isolation guidelines from the Center for Disease Control and Prevention and the Florida Department of Health. The CDC recommends that people should quarantine for 14 days after their last contact with someone who tested positive, while those in isolation should be at home at least 10 days since symptoms first appeared. What do people do when they live in homes where they can't socially distance? What do they do then? Tanya Arja said all quarantines are not necessarily associated with a school or district site. For attendance reasons, students who are quarantined due to exposure to an off-campus COVID-19 positive case are included in our overall quarantine numbers. Now, the meeting Wednesday comes as the district's, that's going to take place on Wednesday, comes as the district's case count, which stands at around 730 positive cases, is nearly 20 times higher than it was the same time last year. 20 times higher. And your governor is 20 times dumber now than he was last year also. This is what happened. See, when you have somebody ignorant as governor, that's deadly. Stupidity is deadly. The more power the person has, the dumber they are, the more people they can potentially harm and kill. Lynn Gray, the board's chair, said, we're at that place. It's unavoidable. You think? Now, Florida is in the midst of a record-breaking stretch of coronavirus cases, averaging more than 21,700 new cases, according to data compiled by the Washington Post. With more than 16,800 Floridians hospitalized with COVID-19, the state accounts for nearly 1 in 5 of the nation's total hospitalization. Well, that's because your governor's so stupid. That's why. Florida accounts for nearly 1 in 5 of COVID-19 patients hospitalized. Okay, so read the rest of this here. A mask mandate in the district would violate an order by idiotic Governor Ron DeSantis, Republican. Of course, he's a Republican. He wants to run for president. He wants Trump's voters, prohibiting schools from requiring face coverings after initially threatening to withhold school officials' salaries if they resisted his anti-mask rule. He's going to hold people. He's going to hold school officials' salaries for trying to protect children who are vulnerable. This is, you know, this is that's a special type of evil. That's a special type of sick. Governor Ron DeSantis recently backed down, saying school officials pushing for masks should be responsible for the quote unquote consequences of their decisions. Well, I tell you what, Governor Ron DeSantis, if children end up in hospitals and children die, you should be responsible. If you want to say that school officials who want to have mask mandates to protect children who are vulnerable should be responsible for consequences of their decisions, then shouldn't you be responsible for the consequences of your decisions? The Biden administration last week offered federal funds to school administrators in Florida if their idiotic governor made good on his threats. Education Secretary Miguel Cardona wrote in a letter to Ron DeSantis. Did somebody have to read the letter to Ron DeSantis and help him with the big words? I'm just curious. Education Secretary Miguel Cardona wrote in a letter to Ron DeSantis and Richard Corcoran, the state's education commissioner, that the U.S. Education Department, quote, stands with these dedicated educators who are working to safely reopen schools and maintain safe in-person instruction. Now, in another story of you're gonna learn fat meat is greasy. Oh, let me pull this up here. I thought we had this up here. Read this article here from Washington Post. Okay. More than 8,000 Florida students in one school district isolate or quarantine amid local COVID surge. All right. So read this article here from the Washington Post. Now, in another story that should be called, you're going to learn fat meat is greasy. Another idiotic Republican governor, Governor Greg Abbott of Texas, he has been vaccinated, but he tested positive for COVID-19, and he was just at an event, like I think it was Monday, with 600 people, most of them not wearing masks. He's shaking hands and smiling at people and things like this. I wonder how many people are going to get COVID from that super spreader event. If you look at this article here from the Washington Post, there's also good reporting from ABC News. Texas Governor Greg Abbott, who has sought to ban mask mandates in school, tests positive for the coronavirus. But see, Governor Greg Abbott has some of the best health care in America, but he doesn't want to protect vulnerable children and their families. Many of them don't have health care. Texas Governor Greg Abbott has tested positive for coronavirus. Abbott is among the Republican governors who have resisted public health mandates aimed at stemming the tide of the coronavirus Delta variant, which has caused a new spike in cases as the country attempts to reopen schools, restaurants, and other businesses. In a video posted on Twitter on Tuesday night, Governor Greg Abbott said that he has been vaccinated against the coronavirus, quote, and that may be one reason why I'm really not feeling any symptoms right now. I have no fever, no aches and pains, no other types of symptoms. No, well, the main symptom you have is stupidity. He said, quote, I want you to know that as I work my way through this, I was still engaged every single day in everything happening at the Texas Capitol. Here he is talking to a whole group of people, most of them not wearing masks. I wonder how many of them caught coronavirus at this super spreader event. A spokesman for Abbott, Mark Minor, said in a statement that Texas First Lady Cecilia Abbott has tested negative and that everyone with whom the governor was in close contact Tuesday has been notified. Okay, I hope there's nobody there at that event that wasn't supposed to be there. Like they were like another woman or something, they ain't supposed to be there, and they get a call. Oh, you got to quarantine because you came in contact with somebody that had coronavirus. Now they got to explain that to their wife or something like that, you know. Let's go to this quick clip here. This is from NBC Nightly News. This talks about the increase in coronavirus among children. Let's go to this clip, Shakita.
More troubling than the spike in COVID cases among children. Inside some pediatric units, beds are nearly full and kids are sicker than ever. In just the past week, there's been 121,000 new child cases. The stunning explosion in hospital admissions spiking some 300%.
I've seen some of the sickest patients I've ever cared for in the unit over these last couple of weeks, critically ill children.
At Arkansas's Children's Hospital, every number is a name. The tenfold increase in weekly cases nationally is measured one family at a time. Doctors say low vaccination rates, the Delta variant, and loosening restrictions as kids return to school could turn their crisis into a catastrophe.
It's not one of those things where you can say, oh, my kid is healthy, so we're going to be fine. We can't predict which kids are going to end up here in the ICU with us.
With less than 13% of children fully vaccinated, it could be months before those under 12 have a vaccine. And just as kids return to school, in Nashville, some 1,000 students are in quarantine or isolation after an outbreak in infections. In Florida, one school district has more than 8,000 students and staff also in quarantine or isolation.
While children are far less likely than adults to be infected with COVID and to die from COVID, the numbers are trending in the wrong direction.
All right. That's from NBC Nightly News. We're at a time here. If you're watching on our Facebook fan page, The African History Network, The African History Network, or our YouTube channel, Michael Imhotep, IMHOTEP. Keep watching. We'll keep broadcasting for a little bit longer, and we'll talk about Marcus Garvey. We'll be back tomorrow. And remember, I'll be at the 30th Annual African World Festival, Friday, August 20th through Sunday, August 22nd in the Peck Park area with my vendor booth. Remember, right now, it's correct wrong behavior. It's not over till we win. Wakanda forever. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Peace. All right, well, I'll wait on that one. If we look at the updates from ABC News also dealing with Governor Greg Abbott. And, you know, this is karma coming back on you. That's what this is. If we look at the updates from ABC News, Texas governor tests positive. Texas Governor Greg Abbott has tested positive for COVID-19, his office announced. Now, Texas governor, he's fully vaccinated and has no symptoms, his office said. He's receiving Regeneron's monoclonal antibody treatment, his office said. Everyone that the governor has been in close contact with has been notified. Abbott has banned masks and vaccination mandates in Texas. According to the Houston Chronicle, the governor... Let's see, can we get that? According to the Houston Chronicle, the governor gave a speech Monday night to a crowd of 600 people where there was little social distancing or mask wearing. Okay, so that was a super spreader event right there. And those are they look like a bunch of older people, elders. So that ain't gonna turn out too well, I don't think. Governor Greg Abbott tweeted another standing room only event in Collin County tonight. Thank y'all for the enthusiastic reception. Let's keep this energy up and send a message that Texas values are not up for grabs in 2022. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's not going to turn out too well. All right. Let me see here. I was trying to pull up this clip here. Okay, let's try to grab this from NBC Nightly News. Let me play the rest of this clip. Just a second. Let me cue this up. All right, how's everybody doing? You can still register for the 10-week online course that I teach. You can still register for the 10-week online course that I teach on Saturdays from the Civil War to the Civil Rights Movement and Black Power, 1865 to 1968. This is a 10-week online course. We do the class live. All the sessions are recorded. You can go back and watch it over and over again. And we do it 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday through Friday. Now, as soon as you register, you can watch classes 1 through 4. Okay, as soon as you register, you can watch classes 1 through 4. And we go through and analyze a 10-year period of history, each class, and look at what happened after the Civil War ended. Okay, what happened after the Civil War ended? How do we get to where we are today? We go through, look at the end of the Civil War, Reconstruction era, 1865 to 1877. We look at the Black Codes and Jim Crow era, all of that. Okay, and then we'll go through World War I, World War II. We look at the Civil Rights Movement and the Black Power Movement. All right, we go through 1968. Okay, so you can register for that at our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. Classes on sale, $80, regularly $130. From the Civil War to the Civil Rights Movement and Black Power, 1865 to 1968. All right, and we'll post a link here to register for the class also. Now, let me go to this clip here from NBC Nightly News. I think we have it queued up now. We'll play the rest of this clip here. So child COVID hospitalizations up 300% in a month. The clip is only 2 minutes. We'll start it from the beginning.
No rise more troubling than the spike in COVID cases among children. Inside some pediatric units, beds are nearly full and kids are sicker than ever. In just the past week, there's been 121,000 new child cases. The stunning explosion in hospital admissions spiking some 300%.
I've seen some of the sickest patients I've ever cared for in the unit over these last couple of weeks, critically ill children.
At Arkansas's Children's Hospital, every number is a name. The tenfold increase in weekly cases nationally is measured one family at a time. Doctors say low vaccination rates, the Delta variant, and loosening restrictions as kids return to school could turn their crisis into a catastrophe.
It's not one of those things where you can say, oh, my kid is healthy, so we're going to be fine. We can't predict
which kids are going to end up here in the ICU with us.
With less than 13% of children fully vaccinated, it could be months before those under 12 have a vaccine. And just as kids return to school, in Nashville, some 1,000 students are in quarantine or isolation after an outbreak in infections. In Florida, one school district has more than 8,000 students and staff also in quarantine or isolation.
While children are far less likely than adults to be infected with COVID and to die from COVID, the numbers are trending in the wrong direction.
Doctors say most kids never get seriously sick, but many of those that do are fighting for their lives. Tonight, protecting the youngest Americans, as far too many fall ill every day.
And tonight, Texas Governor Greg Abbott, a staunch opponent to vaccine and mask mandates, has tested positive for the virus. Suffering a breakthrough infection, his staff says he's receiving treatment, but not showing any symptoms.
Okay, that's from NBC Nightly News from August 17th, 2021. All right, now, let's continue here. All right. So I want to go to this last story here. So today is Marcus Garvey's birthday, August 17th. There's a article I want to look at, and I've posted this before. And this deals with Marcus Garvey's Jegna, or his mentor, Dusay Muhammad Ali. Dusay Muhammad Ali. Blackpast.org has some good information on Marcus Garvey also. I did a video a couple years ago dealing with Garvey. We want to do that again. But Garvey was born August 17th, 1887 in St. Anne's Bay, Jamaica. So the day is his birthday. We posted some articles about Garvey today. And Garvey influenced some of everybody from Dr. King to Malcolm X to Elijah Muhammad. He influenced some everybody, Kwame Nkrumah. There is a article from AtlantaBlackStar.com that deals with 10 people or 10 leaders, something like that Garvey influenced. We'll try to pull that one up also. Okay, let's see here. Where is that? Hold on. All right, but if we look at this, if we look at this article here from face-to-faceafrica.com, the little-known Sudanese-Egyptian Pan-Africanist who mentored Marcus Garvey. Okay, this is from November 24, 2018. This is Dusay Muhammad Ali. Dusay Muhammad Ali. When Jamaican icon Marcus Garvey was a student in London, he found a mentor in one of Africa's actors and political activists called Dusay Muhammad Ali. Born in 1886, Ali was the son of an Egyptian father and a Sudanese mother. He was born in Alexandria, where he was trained until he was 10 years old, when his dad started arranging to transfer him to England. He would stay in England until 1882, when his father, an officer in the Egyptian army, was killed in the Battle of Tel El Kabir between Egypt and the British military. He was 16 at this time and had to handle his father's estate affairs, as the family had been evacuated to Sudan. He then headed back to King's College, London. Okay, King's College, London. Now, although he wanted to be a doctor, Duse Muhammad Ali changed his course in school to study the arts. He took to the stage at 19 years old and would act for the next 24 years. However, the resentment started creeping in because of the tendency of being typecasted into stereotypical roles, either as an evil Muslim or a slave because of his dark skin. Okay. And here we see stereotypes and typecasting when it comes to the media. However, the resentment started creeping in because of the tendency of being typecasted into stereotypical roles as an evil Muslim or a slave because of his dark skin. Now, this was despite the fact that he was the only English-speaking actor from the Arab world in English theaters at the time. Now, he took a detour in his career and became a journalist thanks to his interest in politics. Some of his articles focused on the treatment of Egyptians by the British. Now, he would travel the world in search of warm climate due to ill health, visiting countries like India, the U.S. and the Caribbean. Okay, India, the U.S. and the Caribbean. Now, during his voyages, he was able to see the impact of imperialism on Black people and Arabs and made his mission to challenge this. In 1912, Duse Muhammad Ali founded the first newspaper in England, owned and published by a Black person. It was called African Times and Orient Review. African Times and Orient Review. The fund used in launching the paper was provided by West Africans living in London. The newspaper became famous for its Pan-African take and attracted the likes of the cousin of the first African-born president of Liberia, Irish writers, and British explorers. Even women rights activists sent contributions to the newspaper. Now, it was through this newspaper, okay, African Times and Orient Review, founded by Duse Muhammad Ali. It was through this newspaper that he established relationships with other African or Black intellectuals throughout the world, including Booker T. Washington and Elaine Leroy Locke. He was able to meet Marcus Garvey and even join the United Negro Improvement Association, the UNIA, which was founded in 1914 in Jamaica. Then Garvey comes to the U.S. in 1916. Garvey wants to hook up with Booker T. Washington, but Booker T. Washington had passed away the year before in 1915. Now, so Duse Muhammad Ali joins the UNIA as a foreign secretary and head of African affairs. Now, the newspaper folded during World War I, and as it was banned by the British in India and in all its African colonies. Duse Muhammad Ali moved to the U.S. in the 1920s, but after a series of failed businesses, he came back to the continent, settling in Nigeria. Okay, settling in Nigeria. Now, he founded The Comet, which was a magazine which was ranked among top Nigerian publications at the time. In 1944, he would sell the magazine to a publication house owned by Nnamdi Azikiwe, the man who would become Nigeria's first president. Now, Duse Muhammad Ali, who had written a number of books and staged a number of plays throughout his life, passed away on June 25th, 1945. June 25th, 1945. All right. Okay, so this is some information on the little-known Sudanese-Egyptian Pan-Africanist who mentored Marcus Garvey as Duse Muhammad Ali. Okay, it's a good piece here from FacetoFaceAfrica.com by Induta Waru for FacetoFaceAfrica.com, November 24th, 2018. BlackPass.org has some good information on Garvey. And there was an article we posted today also from AtlantaBlackStar.com. We posted a few articles dealing with Garvey today, but there's one from Atlanta Black Star dealing with, let me see if we can pull this up here. This deals with, I think it posted. It deals with 10, it deals with 10 African leaders or 10 black leaders that Garvey influenced. Let me see if we can pull this one up here from AtlantaBlackStar.com. Hold on just a second. Where is that? Okay, let's see. Let me see if we can find that one. I thought it posted, but maybe it didn't. But it's from AtlantaBlackStar.com. Let's try to pull this up another way. "10 leaders you may not know were influenced by Marcus Garvey." That's from 2014 by AtlantaBlackStar.com. 10 leaders you may not know were influenced by Marcus Garvey. Let me see. So Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Dr. King goes and visits Garvey's grave. He and Coretta Scott King during a trip to Jamaica on June 20th, 1965. Civil rights leader Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and his wife Coretta Scott King made it a point to visit the shrine of Garvey, where they laid a wreath on his grave. In a speech, Dr. King told the audience that Garvey was the first man of color to lead and develop a mass movement. He was the first man on a mass scale and level to give millions of Negroes a sense of dignity and destiny and make the Negro feel he was somebody. All right. So a lot of people don't know that Dr. King studied Garvey also. Dr. King studied a lot of people. Dr. King kept abreast of the developments on the continent of Africa as well. All right. So read that article. They got too many ads. Read that article from AtlantaBlackStar.com. BlackPass.org has an article on Marcus Garvey. You can check out as well, BlackPass.org. But Garvey influenced so many people, including even Dr. W.B. Du Bois, who was an adversary as well, but he still influenced him also. Read this article here from blackpass.org. Marcus Garvey, 1887 and 1940. Okay. So Garvey was one of the most influential 20th century Black nationalist and Pan-Africanist leaders. And we know he was born in Jamaica. So you got people that want to act like Jamaicans and Haitians and all these other people really ain't black and not part of the African diaspora or something or whatever. I don't know whatever they're talking about, but yeah, okay. A lot of us have Caribbean ancestry. You go back far enough, a lot of us have Caribbean ancestry. Now, great, and I mean, the Jamaicans and the Haitians and those in the Caribbean, they came. A lot of them originated in West Africa. You know, when you study Queen Nanny and the Jamaican Maroons, Queen Nanny was from West Africa. She was Ashanti, okay, from West Africa. So it's like, come on, you go back far enough. When you look at those coming from the Caribbean, those coming from Trinidad and Barbados and all that, I mean, where you think they were? Now, it is true that there were African people in those areas even before Columbus and European colonizers went to those areas. That is true. Okay. But where do those Africans come from? And a lot of us, I mean, just like with Nat Turner, it's believed Nat Turner's mother was from Haiti, because during the Haitian Revolution, you had slave owners in Haiti who fled Haiti, and many of them were coming to the U.S. and bringing their slaves with them in the 1790s. So it's believed that Nat Turner's mother was from Haiti. Okay, so what does that say about Nat Turner's ancestry? Are we gonna say Nat Turner is not black or because his mother's from Haiti? So a lot of us have Caribbean ancestry. Malcolm X, Minister Louis Farrakhan, Sidney Poitier, Harry Belafonte, Shirley Chisholm. So greatly influenced by Booker T. Washington's Up From Slavery autobiography, Marcus Garvey began to support industrial education, economic separatism, and social segregation as strategies that would enable the ascent of the black race. In 1914, Garvey established the UNIA, Universal Negro Improvement Association, in Kingston, Jamaica, adopting Booker T. Washington's inspirational phrase, "Up, you mighty race, you can conquer what you will." Okay, this comes from Booker T. Washington. Garvey was influenced by Booker T. Washington. He was influenced by Booker T. Washington and mentored by Deuce Muhammad Ali. Okay, but he never met Booker T. Washington. When Garvey comes to the U.S. in 1916, he arrives the year after Booker T. Washington passes away. By May of 1917, Garvey relocated the UNIA in Harlem and began to use speeches in his newspaper, The Negro World, to spread his message across the United States to an increasingly receptive African-American community. So Garvey is one of the people, the 10-week online course that I teach, from the Civil War to the Civil Rights Movement and Black Power, 1865 to 1968. Garvey's one of the people, we deal with that period of time. This is during World War I. We deal with that period of time because what's going to happen is that after World War I ends, when these African American men come back home after fighting in World War I, there's a new sense of pride. They were called the New Negro, okay, and there's a new sense of pride among African Americans, and we were saying that we want all of our rights now, okay. Especially these brothers coming back home. We were saying we want all of our rights now. We fought and died for this country in World War I, and we're not going to come back and deal with the same segregation that we were dealing with before we left. We want all of our rights now. And they were called race men. They were called the New Negro. And these were men who had a new sense of pride and self-worth. And at the same time that you have Marcus Garvey, you also have Dr. Carter G. Woodson and the Association for the Study of Negro Life and History, all right, which was founded in September 1915. So the Association for the Study of Negro Life and History, which is now the Association for the Study of African American Life and History, was founded the year after the UNIA was founded. UNIA was founded in 1914. Now, but so Garvey has a newspaper. When you look at the Nation of Islam, they have a newspaper. When you look at the Black Panther Party for Self-Defense, they have a newspaper. And we see that these organizations that we're going to form, many of them are going to have newspapers as a way to disseminate the information and also get the information in the areas that maybe people couldn't go physically. A lot of them may not have been able to go physically. They can get that newspaper to get this information to people. So he created the Negro World to spread his message across the United States to an increasingly receptive African-American community. He began to use speeches and his newspaper to do this. His major audience included the thousands of Southern African-Americans who were then migrating from the shadow of slavery and the plantation to the urban north, from the shadow of slavery and the plantation to the urban north. So this is during the Great Migration of 1915 to 1970. We had 6 million African Americans migrating from the South and up north and out west. They're going from the South up north and out west. Okay. And the Great Migration is totally going to change this country. And many of them are moving up north. They're going to work in factories and things like this. They're looking for a way of life, and they're making more money than they were making in the South on plantations as sharecroppers, etc. And they're craving this type of information coming from Dr. Carter G. Woodson, coming from Marcus Garvey. They're craving this type of information. Black veterans of World War I were another Garvey audience. Most of them had experienced both French equality and U.S. military bigotry, and returned home as militant, quote unquote, race men. They were attracted to Garvey's cause. The UNIA grew larger still following the race riots in the Red Summer of 1919. The Red Summer is when you had over 25 major race riots in this country the year after World War I ended. Because when these white men went to go fight in the war, they left jobs behind. When they came back, those jobs were being filled by African Americans and immigrants who were here. And this is going to explode in racial explosions across this country. Okay, you had one in Chicago. You had one in Elaine, Arkansas, where you had over 200 sharecroppers who were killed, who were trying to organize for better wages. All right. So 1919, the year after World War I ended, was called the Red Summer. Okay, the Red Summer of 1919, because the streets of America were flowing with blood. And it was named the Red Summer by James Weldon Johnson. James Weldon Johnson of the NAACP. And in 1899, James Weldon Johnson wrote the lyrics for the song that would be called Lift Every Voice and Sing, okay, which would become the Black National Anthem. Okay, that was written by James Weldon Johnson. And he's the one who named it the Red Summer. And it was in 1917, 2 years before the Red Summer, that you had the silent march down Fifth Avenue in Manhattan. Okay, the silent march. And this was a march of 10,000 African Americans who were marching for anti-lynching, federal anti-lynching legislation. That march was organized by James Weldon Johnson, okay, of the NAACP. The silent march, blackpast.org has a piece here. New York City NAACP silent protest parade 1917. There were 10,000 African Americans marching down Fifth Avenue in 1917 protesting, and we were organizing for federal anti-lynching laws. All right. Okay, so look at read that one, and then if we go back to this one here briefly. Okay, so this talks about 1919. Now, Garveyism resonated with the rapidly urbanizing Black community because the Great Migration is going to help Garvey's movement. World War I and these African-American soldiers coming back home, and then the Great Migration, this is going to help Garvey's movement. Garveyism resonated with the rapidly urbanizing African-American community and spread beyond the United States to the Caribbean, Latin America, and Africa. Regardless of the locale, Garvey's UNIA promised Black economic uplift via self-reliance, political equality, via self-determination, and the liberation of Africa from European colonialism via a Black army marching under the red, black, and green flag of Black manhood. So we know it was 1920 at the International Conference of the UNIA, August 13th, 1920, that they adopt the red, black, and green Pan-African flag. Okay, and that comes from the UNIA also. Africa's redemption, according to UNIA supporters, was foretold in the Messianic biblical Psalm 68:31. Princes shall come out of Egypt. Ethiopia shall soon stretch out her hands unto God. However, it was Garvey's ability to convey in his vivid and powerful speeches the distinct possibility of achieving these goals that led the UNIA to become an organization of millions. All right. Okay, check out the rest of this piece here from blackpast.org. Marcus Garvey, 1887 and 1940. Okay, 1887 and 1940. I'll be at the Charles H. Wright Museum of African American History for the 30th Annual African World Festival, Friday, August 20th through Sunday, August 22nd. Visit theright.org for more information, theright.org for more information. I will be in the Peck Park area, I'll have a vendor booth there, so you can come check me out. Be sure to register for the 10-week online course I teach on Saturdays, from the Civil War to the Civil Rights Movement of Black Power, 1865 to 1968. As soon as you register, you can watch classes 1 through 4. Okay. And we do the classes live. We have all the classes are archived also, so you can go back and watch them repeatedly. Even after the class is over with, you can still watch the course. You still have access to it. You can watch from around the world as well. We do this class Saturdays, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then also on Sundays, 2 p.m. to 4 p.m., I teach the other online course in Kemet, the Moors, and the Ma'afa, Understanding the Transatlantic Slave Trade, what they didn't teach you in school. This is on Sundays. And we do this class live also, 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All the sessions are recorded as well. So visit AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com for more information. As soon as you register, you can. We have archive content. You can watch the class we just did this past weekend for that one also. And we deal with thousands of years of history and what led up to the transatlantic slave trade taking place. And the new class, from the Civil War to the Civil Rights Movement, 1865 to 1968. This picks up where Understanding the Transatlantic Slave Trade leaves off. All right, if you like this type of information, you can support the African History Network, $ the AHN Show through Cash App, $ the AHN Show through Cash App, also through PayPal, paypal.me / the AHN Show, paypal.me / the AHN Show. We're here 6 days a week. This helps us keep doing the research, stay on the air, keep broadcasting, pay some of the bills, etc. And this is our official Cash App account, $TheAHNShow, SHOW. These other ones are fake African History Network Cash App accounts. And so when you go to our Cash App account, it'll show my name and show my picture there. And our actual Cash App tag is $TheAHNShow, SHOW. All right, look, we have to get out of here. Remember, at the African History Network, we focus on educating, empowering, and inspiring people of African descent throughout the diaspora and around the world, because right now it's correct wrong behavior. It's not over till we win. Wakanda forever. And we'll talk to you tomorrow. Peace.
Gain knowledge in minutes from insightful summaries of progressive and socially conscious books. Blacklisted gives you access to curated content that'll satisfy your curiosity to learn and understand different perspectives. Empower yourself through inspirational and actionable ideas. It's easy to read or listen to on the go. Blacklisted. Empower yourself. Start your free trial today.
Black on Purpose Television Network. Yes, Black on Purpose Television Network. All black, all positive, all the time. The largest black-owned streaming television network in the world. Bringing our people together worldwide. Controlling our messages, our story, our way. Black TV the way it should be. Black music, Black history, and more. 30+ channels.